Hello there, friends, and welcome to another Chef Lance show. And today we're going to cook this uber delicious Peruvian chicken all on an air fryer with a rotisserie spit. Let's go around the corner and cook this thing. Okay, kids, here we go. We are going to start on this rotisserie chicken. Now, this particular bird, I'm assuming it was a lady bird. It kind of looks a little bit anemic. But what's happened is I brined this chicken. By the way, there's a video somewhere about that. I brined it, and then I put it in the refrigerator on a sheet pan, small sheet pan with a rack, so the skin would get dry. It would dry out a little bit. And so in the process, the bird relaxed and looks all relaxed right now. We're going to correct that in a minute when we get ready to put this on the rotisserie. So let's talk about what we're going to do. First of all, we have the rotisserie in the air fryer, and that's what we plan on using. And I'll show you how to put the spit on the rotisserie rod. But before that, we're going to season this bird thoroughly. Now, on the recipe, I put the link in there for you. It doesn't go to my webpage. It goes to another site where the recipe is. The seasoning calls for salt. But because this bird has been brined, I'm omitting the salt. If you don't brine your chicken, use the salt. And if you do brine, do not use the salt. This bird is perfectly seasoned already. So I've got a little sugar. I've got some oregano. What was that? I'll find out. Anyway, it's on the recipe. Got a little paprika. Got some black pepper, and now I'm going to just mix that together real quick. Cumin, that's what it is. Now that the smell is really hitting me, it's cumin. All right, so I've got that. I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of oil, help pull this together. You know, we're kind of making a paste, not a paste, but kind of, and then this is some lime juice, okay? So we got those in, and instead of worrying with the whisk there, I'm just going to get my hands in here because I've got to get my hands in here to put it on the bird anyway. Then I'm just going to start lathering the chicken with this. Now, I'm not going to make a big fuss about it, but if I can get in without tearing the skin, if I can reach in under the skin to the breast meat, I am actually going to put a little bit of this there as well. Okay, so let me do it that way. My mama used to say more than one way to skin a cat. So we're going to get that in there. That'll just help get that seasoning down into the meat a little better there. Right now we're doing the skin, of course, because it's going to get a nice color as a result, but it's also flavoring as well. Now, this is Peruvian chicken, and it's done on a rotisserie, but what makes it Peruvian is the spices that we use. So every country and culture has their own spices. What makes Mexican food Mexican? What makes Italian food Italian? And the way those spices were determined is really back in the day, before we had transportation the way we do now. It was whatever was local. You know, it was just the local ingredients that they used to put together their different spice and seasoning blends. Now, somewhere along the 1600s, maybe before, explorers who were setting out from Europe actually discovered spices in different parts of the world. And so the spice trade began. And that was a very exciting for humans to have those kind of things available that were never available before. Today, that's accelerated, actually, because, I mean, literally, we can go to our phone, go to a website or an app, hit a button, and in a couple of days, some produce from another country is at our doorstep. I mean, it never before in history. Before, they would have to risk money, fortune, and lives, and ships, and all that to go around the world, and they wouldn't know for weeks, many times months if that investment paid off and then they would get the goods. Okay, so I've got the bird seasoned. Enough of the history lesson. I'm going to bring you up close and personal, and I'm going to show you how I deal with getting this on the spit for the rotisserie, and I will see you in just a second. All right, guys, here we go. So got a couple things to do. First of all, this is what I call the spit, which is the name of the rod they use in like open pit roasting of large animals. So I'm just going to call it the spit. These are the medieval devices, barbs that go on this rod that actually stick into the bird to hold it in place. Otherwise, the rod would rotate and the bird would just stay in one place. So this forces the bird to turn with the rod. And so we're going to do that. So before we do that, however, we have got to tie these legs up. So I've got a piece of butcher's twine, sometimes called kitchen string. Make sure when you get this, it is that and not some just regular household string that's not intended to be food safe and or heat resistant. Okay, so this is butcher twine. You can find it at a lot of grocery stores, but you can also order it from that Jungle River store as well. So I'm going to come in and if I can just get this right. And I'm going to wrap this around, pull it up. Now, I'm going to wrap 2 or 3 times. We'll pull that up tight and wrap this guy 2 or 3 times. And now, I'm just going to come here. This is not a butcher's knot or anything like that. This is after I secured the legs by wrapping. Now I'm going to pull it tight with just a regular old overhand knot. Then I'm going to double knot that to hold it in place. And I'm going to cut off the excess. Okay, so that's as simple as that. So now we'll do something with the wings later. We don't want those flopping around. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work on this. So the way we do this is we want to run this through that string. And it came right out. So let me make sure I've got that through one of those loops. And then we're going to run it right out the front. So you see I've got the spit rod on both sides. Now, right now, if you can notice, see how that what is actually the back is actually hanging. We don't want that either. So I'm going to have to use these in order to secure that. Okay, so get all that nonsense tucked in, and this thing then slides on. I need to do it the other way. So the reason I'm doing it this way is because this wing nut here, I need to have access to that. So I'm going to get that. It's a square rod, and that's got a square opening. So now what I want to do is I want to get this secured. Yeah. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this. Well, I was in the legs one, and I came right out again. Let me see if I can get this correct. Hey, this ain't rocket science, but it might help if I had a rocket science degree. Okay, now I'm going to make sure this is tight, and I'm actually going to stick this into part of the thigh meat, and I missed part of the thigh meat. There we go. I still don't feel comfortable with that being where it is. Get under that leg. There we go. Now this is a better setup. Push that into the thigh meat. And you can see now, until I let it slide off, that this is not going to droop. Okay? Get my finger out of the way. Now, what do I do here? I come in and do the same thing. Put this one on this side. And this is almost a push as I go thing. By the way, I didn't do this, and I just think I need to mention it. If you want to, you can remove the wishbone. We'll talk about that in another video, but when you're carving, if you remove the wishbone prior to cooking, you get more meat when you carve the breast. And so I did not do that. I need to back that screw off a little bit. And all right, now this, well, there we go. And I just push that and it goes into the breast meat. Then I need to tighten this up. And you can see I'm secured, it'll turn. Now, what about the wings? So there's a couple ways to do that. If you want, you can, the way I like to do it is to bend them back like this, you know, twisting someone's arm. This is the way you do it. And now look at there, there's some feathers. I'm going to get those off of there. Didn't see those before. Okay, now I've got this guy secure. Perfect. And so he's all set up, ready to go into the rotisserie. I'm going to go get that ready. I'm going to smooth some of this out though. Go get that ready, and then I'll show you when I'm putting it in and setting the rotisserie to go. Now, the recipe that you're going to look at when you click the link in the description says we're going to cook this for 45 minutes. We are not. We cook by temperature, not by time. So if you notice in that recipe, the 45 minutes, it's calling for a 4-pound bird. I couldn't find a 4-pound bird. It was either this one bird, a little over 3 pounds, and the rest were between 5.5 and 6 pounds. So I chose to go for the smaller bird. You got to remember, when they give you times in a recipe, they're judging it based on a lot of factors. And if you want to be accurate about how you cook, we're going to go by temperature, not time, okay? The other thing is, you see how tight this guy is? When I put the warp thing in, tied the legs up, there's no air getting here. It takes dark meat longer to cook. It cooks to a higher temperature. And so the other thing is we've got to play this very, kind of smart, because we don't want to overcook the breast while we're trying to get the thighs and the legs done. Now, brining helps that. That's one of the reasons for brining, because it'll help the meat actually retain moisture. Anyway, enough about that. I'm going to go get this rotisserie set up, and when you come back, we'll be putting it in and turning it on. All right, we'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, my friend, we are ready to put this bird on the rotisserie. I've got it open. If you can see, I took the bottom pan and I covered it in aluminum foil. That'll help make cleanup easier. That's optional, but I prefer to do it. Then I'm going to just get my bird now, and I'm going to put it on the rotisserie rack in here. And so the way it goes on this side is actually what drives the mechanism. And there are grooves, and then on this side is where you hang the opposite. This doesn't turn, this side turns, but there are grooves for it to hang, and you know you have it once it gets on there. So let me take this dirty glove off, then come over here. I'm going to set it on the rotisserie setting, and it shows a time of 45 minutes. Now, the temperature will not change. That's preset. I'm actually going to drop this to 30 minutes. And when the 30 minutes is up, I'm actually then going to temp the chicken. Okay, so we cook by temperature, not time. All right, so it's ready to go. And we're off to the races. If I turn these, see if I can, I don't know if you can see in there with the light on, but the bird is turning. And so we are cooking with rotisserie. So I'll be right back when we're ready to check the temperature. See you in a sec. Welcome back, friend, and we are nearing the time on the rotisserie. Now, I will tell you that at 30 minutes, I checked the temp. It wasn't quite there. I set it for another 10 minutes, so at the end of this, we'll be at 40 minutes cook time. I know I said don't worry about setting it for 45. We may end up cooking 45 minutes, but the point I'm trying to make, and it just ended, is this. We're not dictated to by the machine. We control. That's why we always cook by temperature and not by time. So I'm going to come in here, and it's beautiful. I don't know if you can see that, but it is gorgeous. I'm going to stick the leg, being careful not to hit the bone. The thigh is perfectly cooked, and we're cooked on the breast as well. So now I am going to get some gloves on and grab my handy dandy rotisserie retrieval tool. And I can tell you, I'm looking at the bottom of this, I made a wise decision, one of the few in my life, to put aluminum foil on the bottom because it has dripped a lot. Now, I'm not going to do it for this video, but those drippings right there would make a beautiful pan sauce for this chicken. But I will teach you guys how to do a pan sauce at some point. So if you'll watch the unboxing video, I pulled this out and I was really impressed that this had it. So this is my first time to actually use this tool to retrieve. So I don't have to grab it with it being hot. I come in here and I lift it up. Look at there. Oh my goodness, this is beautiful. Look at that. Look at the color on that bird. Woo. Why did I touch that? That's hot. So there you go. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. I'm looking for my towels. I'm going to pick this up. I just want you to look at the color on that thing all the way around. Oh my goodness, that gorgeous. And the skin, nice and crisp. So beautiful. All right, so here's what's going to happen before I do anything, and that includes removing the spit. I'm going to let this thing rest and cool down a little bit. That metal right there is 400 degrees at the moment, and I'm not going to play with that. Plus, the meat needs to rest. It has been pierced, and if I were to pull that out right now, a lot of the moisture would just run out with it. So I want that to settle and have a chance to come back together. So I'm going to give it 15 or 20 minutes, and when I bring you back, we'll be ready to carve this thing and put it on the plate. All right? And then I've got a wonderful side dish I want to share with you as well that make a perfect dinner. Okay? We'll talk to you in a few. Okay, kids, the bird has rested, and now it's still, isn't that a beauty? Those nice juices, though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take him off of this little spit arrangement. So I'm going to loosen this one side up and pull that out for cleaning. And now I'm going to leave the other one attached. But if I just push it like that, it comes right out. Now, I had a hard time getting it through the string on the legs. Now I'm having a hard time getting it out. So let me, there we go. So that will go get washed. Now we have this beautiful bird. So now what I'm going to do next, I'm going to put it on this plate right here, and I'm going to get some pictures of it. So you'll get to see those later. Then, when I'm finished with that, I'm going to come back around. We're going to carve this, and then it's my favorite time of the day, and that's tasting time. I'm going to also have a side dish with this, and we're just going to make a meal. So I'll see you around the corner when we get ready to taste. All right, welcome back, my friend, and we're here with our Peruvian chicken, and we're going to get ready to carve this thing. So the first thing I do is I'm going to snip the butcher's twine off the legs and just get that out of the way. You don't ever want to serve your kitchen twine to your family or guests. I haven't found anybody that likes it anyway. All right, so we got that. I believe, yep, I think that's everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carve off a breast, plate it up, have a side dish to go with it. Take a couple pictures, and then I'm going to taste this thing. So let's get carving. Now here's where, right here, I'm running into that wishbone we talked about. And I wish I'd have thought about just taking it out, but we'll be fine. If you didn't want to use your chef knife, certainly a boning knife. Sometimes if you're a fisherman, it could be called a fillet knife. I'm just going to take this off right here. Oh yeah, come on. Got the wing with it. Take that off. You know, the older I get, the more I actually like chicken wings. Now, the whole thing about this being a small bird really becomes evident when you take the breast off. It is a small breast. So you really want to try to find something that's a little bigger. I don't think that any of the 5-pound birds, they were more like 5.5 pounds, would have worked well in this rotisserie. But if I'd have found one that was closer to about the 4-pound mark, then I think we could have been okay. So take that part off. I particularly enjoy the wing flats. I'm going to get a little snippet before picture time. Oh, that spice. That is some kind of good right there. Well, I jumped the gun on tasting, didn't I? That spice rub is so yummy. That's not even funny. I can't help myself. That is delicious. All right, now that I've obliterated the wing, I'm going to finish plating this up, get a couple pictures, and come back. I'll do the official taste test then, okay? Hopefully around the corner. All right, my friend, it is my favorite time of the day, and that is tasting time. This beautiful dish here. What I've got is Peruvian chicken that we spiced up and did as a rotisserie and an air fryer using the rotisserie attachments. Actually turned out fabulous. We had brined the chicken ahead of time. There'll be a video on that. And then I'm serving it with a side dish of dauphinoise potato, which is a potato gratin from the Dauphine region of France. It's absolutely one of my all-time favorite potato dishes. There's a video floating around somewhere about that too. So let me drop some stuff. Let me get off to a good start here by tasting our chicken breast. You already saw me taste the chicken wings. I can tell you I love the spices on this Peruvian chicken. I really do. That. Okay, so that spice rub, I also can tell I got under the skin with it. But because this chicken was brined, it is moist, perfectly seasoned all the way through. I don't have any salty spots versus not salty. And it stayed moist even though it was a fairly high temp cooking method. This is absolutely a winner. I'm just going to say it's probably not as fast as you need it to be for a weeknight dinner when you're coming home from work. But do this for the weekend. Sunday dinner after church, Saturday afternoon. I mean, this thing is perfect for that. It takes a little bit extra time, but you have the time on the weekend, right? So you could even prep the potatoes ahead of time. The chicken will have to be done ahead of time if you brine it, and I highly recommend that. Check out that video. This is absolutely a winner. So I'm going to enjoy this. And let me just tell you, a day in the kitchen beats a day of working any day. And we'll see you next time on the Chef Lance Show. Mmm. 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 Let's check out these potatoes. Potatoes. This is a perfect combination. I wish now I had done the pan sauce. Absolutely scrumptious. Go away.